informed us that the Australian public has been subject to an orchestrated 5G misinfo campaign. Yeah. And I would agree wholeheartedly with them that the Australian public has been subject to a misinfo campaign about 5G. What we are seeing here is a warped projection from the government onto the 5G action groups, where the misinfo is not coming from within the 5G movement, but from within the heart of the government and regulatory bodies themselves. This type of projection can be seen in something called gaslighting, and it is a form of psychological manipulation. Claire Edwards says this about 5G. 5G is a planetary emergency, and everybody has to drop everything to stop 5G. If you are not currently working to stop 5G, this means you don't understand it. Nothing else matters anymore. This is about the survival of you, your children, and this planet. COVID-19 has caused an explosion in public awareness. Rather than meekly hunkering down under house arrest, men and women have taken to their computers and began to ask questions, many of them for the first time. Our 5G action groups exploded with members' requests the first 2 weeks of lockdown. It is clear that our legitimate science-based concerns about 5G are reaching broader sections of our local and global communities. Which is very important at a time where the government has declared that we are responsible for spreading misinfo on 5G, pledging at the end of last year 9 million of taxpayers' funds to combat misinfo about 5G. It is misinfo to declare 5G as safe. 5G, as a name to describe a band of frequencies from 6 to 300 gigahertz, has not had a single biological safety test in all this range of frequencies, proposed pulsations and nanopulsations. It cannot be declared safe. There is no science to back that up.
Stop 5G! Stop 5G!
To prove 5G is safe, there would need to be clinical trials, biological safety tests, on all the proposed range of frequencies, pulsations and nanopulsations, and this would be an enormous undertaking, pointing the general public in the way of airport scanners, baby monitors and police radars to attempt to prove a ubiquitous, omnipresent 5G smog is safe is simply an embarrassing underestimation of the collective Australian IQ. Or perhaps it simply represents the IQ of those representing us as leaders. In addition, the safety standards currently adopted for our Wi-Fi 4G, 3G and 2G are flawed to the point of being fraudulent. They do not refer or relate in any way to pre-thermal, scientifically established biological effects seen at a cellular level. These standards may well protect us from being cooked by our phones and Wi-Fi, but they do not protect us from harm resulting from cellular dysregulation seen at the pre-thermal levels. Such harm includes the generation of oxidative stress. Downstream effects of that include cancer, neuropsychiatric disease, and more. You know, around 20 years ago, at the end of the last parliamentary inquiry into our EMR safety standards, where there was much concern about the levels that we're exposed to today, by the way, it was suggested that all mobile phones be issued with a health and safety warning sticker, so that the general public may be aware of the damage potentially caused by high EMR. 20 years ago, look what's happened. We're now being warned by experts in the field that we are potentially only 5 generations away from species extinction. This is due to the impact that omnipresent microwave radiation directly has upon our fertility and therefore our ability to reproduce.
Take them down! Yeah.
Stop 5G! Stop 5G! Stop 5G!
Stop 5G!
Stopping 5G is not just about stopping 5G, but requires that we demand our current approach to wireless technology as an entirety be completely reconsidered, and that those individuals and groups responsible for perpetuating the misinformation, the lie, the microwave radiation is safe, be held accountable and liable for their decisions which have affected the health of generations, probably and catastrophically, that we will most likely see in our children and our children's children.
Treason!
But now, thanks to COVID-19, we are united now locally and globally in a way that we weren't before, with an explosive awareness that things are not okay. We know there is a much bigger and darker picture at play here. And as we begin to find our voices as sovereign, free men and women, our collective decision to bring about much needed change will continue to spread faster than any future virus or 5G deployments. And I believe this is the point that we collectively now begin to bring down the house of cards.
Thank you very much, Naomi. Our next speaker today is Maril Burnham. Maril last year was a candidate for the IMOP party, and here she is.
Greetings everyone, and thank you, and just a reminder, a big thank you to the police. They have really helped us, and so if you would mind just stepping back, we're still not 1.5, so just a little bit back, because we need that respect. If we're going to ask for respect, we've got to give it back. So just a little bit further back, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm a healthcare professional. I've been practicing for 39 years. And prior to that, I'm a school teacher, and I see people firsthand every day that are damaged from vaccines. I am at the front line of that. I see the tragedy, and I see the no choice. I see the people who wish to go into professions that they can't go into because they have to have a jab. They can't be a nurse without a jab. They can't be a doctor without a jab. They can't be a caseworker without a jab. And now we're going to have aged care people locked in a jail because their family can't go in without a jab. It's wrong. So, yes, this is not fair. Now they destroyed childcare because they think it was because they jacked up the prices of childcare facilities, and that's one reason. But the other reason was they made kids have to have vaccines to have childcare. That is denying them. That is denying the right of children's education. It is denying them. That is not right, and that collapsed. And now ScoMo says free childcare because now also, what do you think is going to happen to aged care? Same thing. Same thing. People won't want to put their family into an aged care because it'll be a jail. Unless you have a vaccine, you won't be able to visit your mum and your dad, and I have those people already crying and distressed in my clinic. It's a disgrace, absolute disgrace. That wasn't the contract that you signed when you put your aged person in that facility. When did that bloody well change? Okay, that's not fair. Now, we all know that a war is going on right now, and it's not just a COVID biological war. It's a war about ownership over your body and your mind, and about who owns you. We are gathered here today and it's fantastic, Australians. You're waking up and it's wonderful, and the more support, the more that we show the awareness that we are awake and we're not going to put up with mandatory coercion and bullying tactics any longer. We are gathered here today to defend and protect what is ours, to protect our body, our mind, and to preserve our beautiful world with its special flora and fauna.